Hey there, Aries. Welcome to your bonus reading. This is going to be a timeless reading because I am answering these questions right here. There's actually a list of those questions down below in the description, so you can follow along down below. But basically, there's going to be a main question, and we're going to go deeper into that question with more questions. Each card is going to answer it. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. For your first row here, we're going to ask what's manifesting in your life right now. You have this ant spirit says time to collaborate, and you have this antelope spirit says life is speeding up. Yeah, of course it is. There's a lot of energy in your sign. You know, of course, Neptune, Saturn. They're both retrograding out. You also have Chiron, which is also retrograde in your sign right now. And, the interesting thing for you here, Aries, is that I think after Chiron leaves is probably when you're going to notice the most speed in your life. So that will be 2027. But I do believe that between now and then, Aries, that you are going to notice that things are speeding up in your life, or things are kind of like going to be getting faster for you. And so that's obviously a good thing. This kind of gives me the feelings of you making a lot more progress in your life than you have in a long time. Like all of a sudden, it's like you could be making like 10 years of progress in 1 year. And I kind of feel that is what you're maybe manifesting. And again, I'm not trying to be clickbaity or anything when I say that, because I think this has taken a long time, right? But that, I have found in life that's usually what happens is like we, prepare for something for a very long time, and then over a year, we become successful all of a sudden, right? It happened with this channel. I was stuck at 40,000 subscribers for years, right? And couldn't break out. And then, like, all of a sudden, I got to 100,000, and then now I'm at 900 whatever thousand I have. So, and it, like, happened very quickly. So, like, once I hit that point, right? And so that's, like, what I feel you are manifesting is, like, some of you are clearly manifesting, like, a point of time like that where it's like all of a sudden you're making progress, or all of a sudden you're kind of like making 10 years of progress in 1 year. And sorry, this whole entire deck is upside down, so if you're wondering why I'm flipping the cards over, that's why, is because it's upside down. But also, so again, I think things are speeding up. That's what you're attracting. And also, you are definitely attracting or manifesting people, teamwork, people to work with. This could be in any area of your life. Could be love, money, work, business. Could be people that just join your team. Like, I believe we have a team on Earth, like people who support us, people who are mentors, or even guides. Like, I believe we have living guides here on Earth, like people, right? And so I feel that in a lot of ways, it's kind of like you're at that part of the hero's journey of your life, right? Where you're kind of attracting the wise mentor, or, the wise expert that has the answers for you. So, like just in general, I feel this is very general, this message that I'm giving you right now, this part of it. But I would be paying very close attention to the people that you're attracting and like the social opportunities that you have at this time. So I feel like that's what's being drawn into you. And, this first part of the reading, this first card is what is being drawn to you right now based off of what you're manifesting. And again, I think you're attracting like the right people, places, and things. I also kind of feel like this ant spirit card, it kind of reminds me of like sometimes like I think we have the steak and someone else has the sizzle, right? Or vice versa. It's like maybe someone has a steak and you have the sizzle. It's like you can cook the steak. I kind of feel like you're attracting people like that. It's like you're attracting people into your life right now that have a good, where it's like you balance each other out. And again, I'm not just talking about love. I feel like you're attracting a lot of people into your life these readings are timeless, and but for whatever reason, I feel like your reading is talking about like an extended period of time, so over the next years, you will probably be, I think you're going to find that you're attracting a lot more of the right people, or a lot more people where it's like you have shared interests and things like that. Next, we're going to look at how will these manifestations show up in your life, and you have the Page of Swords. I kind of feel like you're a little bit of a manifestation machine right now, Aries. So I literally feel that you could be focusing on something and it shows up. And the other thing I'm getting here is that I feel like you need to follow the signs. It's like if you're trying to manifest something, I feel that the universe is going to give you the steps. It's like I don't think we can just manifest things, right? I practice law of attraction because I'm like the type of person, I'm not sure if it's real or not. I definitely feel like I've attracted things, but can I prove it? No, of course not. But to me, it's one of those things. It's free. it doesn't hurt to think more positively. It doesn't hurt for me to do my affirmations every single morning that I do, right? It doesn't hurt for me, which, again, I think, this is actually the wrong piece of paper, but every morning I sit down and write down at least 10, usually more, affirmations, right? So it doesn't hurt. And it's free, and it makes me feel better, right? So that's like why I do it. And, I kind of get that for you here, where it's like, it's like you don't necessarily have to believe or anything, but I do think when we are manifesting properly, it's like we do get signs. But then, that's where I was going with that. Is it still requires work, right? It's like you might get an inspiration. Like if you're trying to manifest $1 million, obviously you're gonna have to work for it, right? You might get an inspiration to go to the store and buy a lottery ticket, right? I don't know, right? So even though we wouldn't really consider that work, it is work. You have to get off your ass to go to the store, right? So even if you were to manifest it in the easiest way possible, which would be the lottery, there's still work to be done. And I feel like the Page of Swords is saying, it's almost like he's saying that to me, to you, is that there is still, there are things you're going to have to follow through on, right? Next, we're going to look at how can you align faster with the things you're trying to manifest right now. Cut out the crap, right, with the Eight of Cups. This is definitely true, I think. I think when we settle for less than we deserve, or when we are in less than favorable conditions in life, when we, even if we, can improve some of them, the conditions, as, that's where we are blocking our manifestations, right? It's kind of like, the best example I can give you is I say to people, like, if you want love, for example, I think people need to understand that, like, we have to really match energy on a very deep level. So if you want love, I don't think it's good enough to just, visualize love coming into your life and things like that. There are things beneath that you also have to do, like cleaning your apartment, for example, or your house or whatever. It's like you're probably not going to invite someone over to a messy apartment or messy house. So it's like if your house is a mess, then you are pushing away love. Even though they're not directly related, they are kind of related, right? So I feel like the Eight of Cups is saying that, whatever you're trying to manifest doesn't matter. But there are things that maybe you have to cut out, or make sure that you're truly in alignment. And this could have to do with your environment, because that's what's popping into my head. But like I would make sure that you are kind of mimicking success here with that Eight of Cups, and walking away from things that are going the opposite direction, right? Or walking away from things that are stealing from you. The Eight of Cups can be something that you would be settling on. So there you go. With the Three of Cups, you have the Five of Cups. Yeah, I feel, again, this is coming up in the area of what's being drawn into you. I feel like you're finally finding things to be grateful for. And it's like you are finding a new set of Three Cups, right? The story of this card is he's lost his taste for wine, but there's something new behind him. And, again, I think you're attracting something new to celebrate in your life. With the Page of Swords, you have the Ace of Wands here. Ace of Wands is like inspiration, or following your inspirations. Pretty much exactly what I said with that Page of Swords. I was getting something about like following, not necessarily the signs, but it's like, following the inspirations. Like I said, going to the store and buying a lottery ticket or something like that. No, I'm not encouraging you to gamble. So that's what I'll say there. But, again, whatever your inspirations are, I think you need to follow them at this time. That's how you're going to manifest more quickly. With the Eight of Cups, you have the Hermit card. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of stuff about people here. So it's like obviously getting out of hermit mode could be very beneficial for you. Or, the reading itself could be asking you to get out of hermit mode so that you can get more attention. Because, Three Cups, time to collaborate. Obviously people are going to be very helpful for your manifestations, or could be helping you manifest faster. So I would make sure you're, getting out in public and all that other good stuff, right? Next, we're going to look at what is blocking you at this time. You have this Royal You card and this Quieting the Mind card. So I do feel that, it's like, I feel like some of you feel that you deserve something, which I feel like is true, by the way, Aries. Like, I'm not hating or anything like that. I do feel it's true that you have earned something, but it's like you're not seeing it yet, although it's coming. And, the Royal You card, it's like you're saying to yourself, I'm a king or a queen or whatever you want to be, I don't care. And you're like, I should be, I should have these things. And it's like, that might be true. But at the same time, I think the universe is asking you to slow down. The Quieting the Mind card would be like slowing down your brain, And it is weird. I'm wondering if this month if you're watching this in August of 2025, again, this reading is going to be timeless. It's going to be for whenever you watch it. But it's just kind of like a little bit of a theme I've noticed in these readings, that maybe maybe we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves this month, if you're watching this in August. So I would slow down your thinking. I would like slow down your brain. It's like sometimes I think we can get excited about an idea or something that we want, and then we get too excited and we kind of build it up too big in our head, and then we don't do it, right? And so that's kind of popping into my head. Next, we are going to look at what limiting belief or situation is in the way. You have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords can be lying, cheating, stealing, but again, that's not what we're asking about here with this card. So he is doing something in a different way. And again, we are in a time of flexibility. Pluto in Aquarius, plain and simple, right? According to Chris's crappy astrology here, we have to be very flexible and we have to be willing to experiment and do things in, all sorts of different ways. And if we are willing to do that, we will be very successful. So, that's what I'll say here is that you have to be open to all the ways of doing things with the Seven of Swords. I also feel that maybe taking things too seriously could be a little bit of a problem for you, Aries. He has these polka dots on his cloak, and trust me, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. It used to piss me off is that my mom used to always say I used to tell her about all my problems, about all the things that weren't working when I was working my ass off on all these projects at the time. And she used to say, you're not having fun. You're being too serious. You're taking this too seriously, blah, blah, blah. And that used to, let me tell you something, that used to go up my ass sideways, right? Because, I don't know. I have a ton of Capricorn in my chart, so I am very serious in some ways. And, I also think that if I do the work, I should get the result, right? But the Seven of Swords says, nope, you need to be more playful. You need to have more fun. You're taking things too seriously. And you know what? My mom was right, because my life didn't change until I started having more fun. So there you go. Mom's always right. Next, we're going to look at how did this blockage form, or why is it persisting? So if you're dealing with this blockage, and you have the Hangman, the Hangman can represent needing to see things from a new perspective, or just needing to be open to other perspectives. We've had a lot of fixed energy over the past few years, Uranus and Taurus, and now we have Pluto and Aquarius. There's been a bunch of stuff in, Jupiter was in Taurus. The list goes on and on. There was like a bunch of stuff over the years, the past few years, in fixed sign energy. And so, it's like I kind of think maybe as a collective, we're just too used to fixed energy and we're not like being flexible enough. So I feel like this is saying just being more flexible will help you open up to new solutions. Next, we're going to look at what's your way through or around this blockage. And you have the Eight of Swords. Makes perfect sense, because the Eight of Swords can represent only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. So like literally the solution, all three cards play very nicely together. And they basically say the solution to your problem is to realize that there are many ways of doing anything that you want to do in your life, and you just have to stay open and flexible to all the different ways there are of doing things. With the Seven of Swords, you have the Page of Pentacles here. The thing that's popping into my head here is like analysis paralysis. Now, normally we would call the Seven of Pentacles is the card of analysis paralysis, but I'm kind of getting it here. It's almost like saying to me that if you are feeling blocked, like you could be thinking to yourself, there's more to learn. For whatever reason, I just feel like I think I'm a lifelong learner. I love learning personally, but at the same time, I think we can keep learning as long as we take what we learn and we put it into practice. The problem is when we just learn and we don't actually use it, right? Which I see a lot. And so, I would say that it's kind of like saying there's nothing more for you to learn, which is not true. You can always learn. But I think it's saying it's time for action. It's time for, like, on something that you're trying to create here. It's like there's nothing more that you could learn that would help you get started, right? After you get started, keep learning and keep implementing, of course, right? But I think it's saying there's nothing more for you to learn. With the Hangman, you have the Moon card here. The Moon can represent wanting to know the future. I think a lot of people feel this right now because of Neptune and Pisces. Neptune's in Aries, but it's going to be retrograding back into Pisces and this year. And again, I think Neptune and Pisces, it's kind of like weird. I think it makes us want to know more the outcome. Like it makes us want to know that something is going to work a certain way or whatever, but we can't know. That's like the secret. So I don't know. I kind of feel like this is saying you can't know. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is a celebration, happiness, all those other good things. Again, I also think that, attracting the right type of people into your life could be the thing that helps you be more successful. or it could be the thing that helps you have a breakthrough here. So that looks pretty good. Next, we're going to see, are there any areas of your life that where you are being redirected at this time? And you have this Pisces card. It says boundaries on it. It says set and honor your boundaries to avoid being taken advantage of. I would definitely say yes. You have the Seven of Wands showing up here. You have the Three of Cups. You have the Five of Cups. I think I've said this to you before, that you probably have been taken advantage of with people over the years, because that's a lesson that Aries has had to learn, again, based off of Chris's crappy astrology. So I think that you're just doing it. You have this Divine Intervention card. It says, angels are working behind the scenes to assist in the miracles you've requested. So, love it. Do I feel like you're being redirected? No. Just so you know. Again, these are questions that we're answering, and so the answer might be no. And I think you're on the right path, kind of. I feel like you're going in the right direction. I feel there are a couple of things you should do, like, again, set healthy boundaries and all that other good stuff, but for the most part, I think you're on the right path. Next, we're going to look at what path is closing or becoming unstable. I don't think there is a path that's closing or becoming unstable for you here, Aries, like I said. I feel like the work that you're doing now is good. If I were you, I would push it a little bit more for sure, Aries. I am not you, and I'm trying to push it a little bit more this year. Again, I think there's a big difference between burning yourself out and just kind of pushing it a little bit, right? So again, 2025 is not a year to burn yourself out. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about pushing yourself to that point where you'd normally give up on something and just going one little extra step further, right? So not burning yourself out, just a little bit, right? Like that Nelly song. Is that Nelly in Florida Georgia Line or something? Just a little bit. Go listen to that song, because that's what will teach you what to do, but just a little bit, right? That's all you're doing. Just the tip, just to see how it feels, right? So just a tiny, small little smidge, and that's what the Eight of Pentacles wants you to do. So just try anything that you're working on. But, really, I feel this is pretty good. I feel like the Eight of Pentacles is saying basically just, keep doing the work. Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. He's working on one thing, and it's also a card of material success on the horizon. So I feel like there is success coming in for you. Next, we're going to look at what's the real opportunity that's opening up for you at this time. And you have the King of Cups, probably something you're emotionally connected to. Again, a couple years ago, I believe we switched from kind of more logical living to more heart-based living or something. I don't know. And the King of Cups has very deep emotions. So I feel like we have kind of switched to a time where I believe we should all be allowing our heart to guide us, or allowing our heart to show us what it wants us to do with our lives is what I'm trying to spit out here, right? And so, yeah, I think that would be a good thing for you to do at this time, Aries, is to focus on that. You have the Four Cups, and this is coming up in the area of why is this redirection ultimately in your favor? Again, I don't think there is a redirection happening for you or anything like that, Aries. I feel, like I said, if anything, you're leveling up or pushing it just a little bit, like I said. So, that would make sense, and I think it'll make your life better. I also feel like you've earned something, but you need to believe that you deserve it. He has been through these 3 lessons, and he's not accepting this new cup into his life because he has failed 3 times before. But if he applies what he learned to this one cup, he will be successful. So I feel like you need to realize that you've earned something as well. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Cups. Again, being in alignment, getting something you wish for, getting something you want here. So I feel like this is pretty good. I think you're in alignment. I kind of said that on the Eight of Pentacles. It's like you're doing the right work. With the King of Cups, you have the Judgment card. Here you go. Judgment and Tower is the most powerful combination in the tarot. It kind of represents a major wake-up call or a major revelation happening for you. So, a lot of you really could be waking up to your true purpose at this time, which is great. And with the Four Cups, you have the Chariot. Yeah, I do think Aries is definitely in a position of taking more control over their lives. So sure. The other thing is that, yeah, sure. Chariot and Tower is moving, and you have Jupiter in your 4th house. So sure. I've said it to you a million times that a lot of you could be moving. And if you're not moving, you could just be making moves, right? Jupiter in 4th house could just be you making a move. And that could be a new job, getting a raise or promotion, leveling up, all that other stuff. Next, we're going to look at what message does your future self have for you. You have this solutions card. It says insights, creativity, and problem solving. Yeah, I mean, you have the Seven of Swords, which actually is a great card of problem solving. He is solving a problem in a different way. He is stealing those swords from the army so he doesn't have to go to war, right? He's coming up with a good solution. Could be a lot of good solutions rolling around in your brain here. I would be using them. You have this beginner's mind card. It says presence, curiosity, openness, and humility. So, yeah, I think it would be a good time to have a beginner's mind in some ways, but I would also get started. It's like sometimes, you know, they call it the curse of knowledge, right? We were talking about this with the Page of Pentacles. Sometimes I think knowing too much is a problem. It's like, trust me, over the years, I've worked with tons of people in business. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people say to me, like, oh, you know, my competitor, they're stupid. I went to high school with them and they got all D's, but they're more successful than me in the same business. And I'm like, yeah, why do you think that is? It's because they're not thinking about it. They're just doing it. They're not like trying to be perfect or anything like that, right? There is a benefit. You know, they say ignorance is bliss, right? Sometimes being dumb is a good thing. As someone who hit their head at 10 years old and also was that D student, I can tell you that, yeah, sometimes being a dummy is actually a benefit, right? So that's the beginner's mind, not just entering into something and saying, I'll figure it out as I go. And I feel like that's what the universe wants you to do here, your future self. Next, in the area of what do you need to stop repeating from the past? This is what your future self wants you to stop repeating. And again, this could be like assuming you know how things are going to go. She thinks that something is going to go this way or this way, but really it's going to go this way, this island behind her. So the Two of Swords is my card of third place solutions. You know, it basically says you might be thinking this or that, but something might go a completely different direction than you realize. And that's what you need to realize, is that sometimes we are wrong. Sometimes we think something is going to go a certain direction, but really it goes a completely different direction. Next, in the area of what advice would your future self give you right now, you have the Tower. You know, this could be you needing to wake up to your purpose, for sure. Again, you know, the Tower isn't always bad, especially because, again, we're asking what advice would your future self give you right now. So the Tower could say, enter into the new reality, enter into the new world. You know, these people are falling out of the Tower because they've been ignoring reality for too long. And now they're coming down to reality, which, again, isn't really a bad thing. So I feel like coming down to reality could be a good thing for you here, Aries, and I would make sure that you do it with this card. Could also be you kind of like moving. So that if you are moving, or if you're asking, like, should I move? I almost feel like this is saying yes. Next, in the area of what part of your life will change the most if you follow this advice, you have the Seven of Wands. Again, I think this is putting you, it's like you're king of the hill. You know, I feel in a lot of ways like sometimes that he is king of the hill. He's defending his position at the top of this hill on this card. But, you know, I kind of feel like you're putting yourself in a good position. The other thing I'm getting here is basically what I said at the beginning of the reading, but different. I really feel there's something about this, about you, like, doing things now that are really going to set you up for the future. And I feel like that's what the universe is trying to say, is that maybe you don't realize how the things that you're working on right now, like how they're going to turn out in the future and how they're going to really set you up for future success. So, you know, there's something about that popping into my head there. With the Two of Swords, you have the High Priestess, needing to trust your intuition. So again, this card says, what do you need to stop repeating from the past, right? This is from your future self. And I feel like your future self, the Two of Swords, she has a blindfold on. She's not trusting her intuition. So I feel like what needs to stop is that you don't trust your intuition sometimes. And maybe you need to really tap into your intuition. I also feel this is your higher self is kind of like saying that you definitely need to believe in yourself more, Aries. I feel that the High Priestess can be a card of like full potential. She has no roof over her head. She is a card of potential. There are no limits to what she can accomplish. So I feel like you really need to believe in your potential, or like you need to believe in what you can accomplish, right? And that's what I would say here, is that, you know, your future self wants you to believe in yourself more. With the Tower, you have the Knight of Wands. Yeah, it's time to go on an adventure. You know, if you haven't been getting out, or, you know, if you've been feeling stuck at home or anything like that, I think it's time for you to like get out and go on an adventure, is what that card is saying. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, Ace of Pentacles could be like a big opportunity coming in for you. And again, I think that you should accept opportunities that come your way with the Ace of Pentacles. Again, this part of the reading is what part of your life will change the most, and the Ace of Pentacles would be money. So there could be a lot of improvements in your finances. Next, we are going to look at who's thinking of you, or does anyone have their eye on you. This is basically love, but it doesn't have to be love. Other people have gotten things like jobs having their eye on you and stuff, so we'll see what comes up. You have the coffin and the mouse. So number one, the coffin can definitely represent the past. The thing about the coffin, and this is the Gilded Lenormand, and the thing about the coffin is that the coffin can represent your old life, and so, outside, the coffin itself wants us to step into our new lives and wants us to let go of the past. So I would make sure that you're doing that. I feel like you're attracting a little bit of an overthinker here. I think you're attracting someone who's been through some major changes. I feel this is a new person for you here, Aries. I'm gonna say all 12 signs before I actually say the sign that you are. The reason I said those signs is because you have Capricorn here, and so I was gonna say Cancer, Pisces, Capricorn, water, fire, Aries, Virgo. Those are the signs that really stand out to me. So definitely could be any of those signs I mentioned, but it could be someone who's a little bit too caught up in the details or a very detail-oriented person. You have the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the Emperor, you, showing up here. So this is their current energies towards you. So if you are attracting a person, I feel like this person is busy focusing on work. So this could also say that you have your eye on someone, and you could be attracting a very busy person. I feel like you could be attracting a very abundant person. And I'm not saying this person's like a millionaire or anything, but I feel that you're attracting a person that's like abundant in every sense of the word, so that could be something that stands out to you. It's probably a person who's like more positive, probably a person who's more, who just has an abundance of things, of, people and, positivity and good stuff in their life, right? So I feel like you're attracting a very abundant person. Next, in the area of what do they wish they could say, Knight of Cups, that you are their knight in shining armor, or vice versa, right? Take it how it resonates. Definitely could be attraction here. Again, not everybody had love in this section of the reading, so what I would say is you definitely have an admirer if you want one, if you want love in general. And again, if you don't want love, this could be something that you will love. Even if you do want love, I feel there could be, with the Ace of Pentacles, Chariot, you have really good cards here. You definitely could be attracting something that you will love. But I do feel that this could be a very dreamy person coming in for you. Next, in the area of what's likely to happen between the two of you, you have the Emperor, which is control or taking control. So it's like, I feel that someone is going, you or this person is going to take control of the situation and make it happen. This could also just say that you're literally attracting your Emperor, right? Or your person into your life with that energy. So that feels pretty good as well here, Aries. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Two of Cups. We're asking, what's their current energy towards you, right? So, perfect match. Are you kidding? Two of Cups can be a person who's different than your usual type, but Two of Cups is a perfect match. Two of Cups usually starts as communication as well. So, definitely could be a new person that you start communicating with very shortly. I don't know. Looks good to me, Aries. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Two of Pentacles. I feel like this needs to start low pressure, is kind of what's popping into my head here. Two of Pentacles, work hard, play hard. But, at the same time, I feel that this is something where it's like if you are getting into something soon, within the next couple of months, I would say, that you should probably make sure that it's that you keep it fun and not too serious, And that doesn't mean it won't get serious. I just, for whatever reason, I feel that. I also feel like this is something that's getting harder to ignore. Sometimes on the Two of Pentacles, I feel like there are waves on this side of the card. They start off very small, and then they get bigger as they move across the card. And so sometimes I feel the Two of Pentacles is talking about something that's getting harder to ignore or is hard to ignore, like a connection, or it's like, it's one of those things. Like, sometimes I think we can meet a person, it's like we kind of develop attraction to them over time, like it builds. And so, like, I think you're going to be attracted to this person. I'm just saying, I think this is like two people that get more attracted to each other, not less. With the Emperor, yeah, what do you know? You have the Page of Cups, so this person will make a move. Again, this part of the reading here was meant to represent what is likely to happen between the two of you. And so I think that this, either you or this person, taking how it resonates, is going to make a move, and that's that. There's really nothing to say because it's going to come together based off the cards. And, that's what I would say there. So that looks pretty good to me. This whole entire reading looks pretty good to me, Aries. I like where this is going. So, definitely some good stuff. But definitely let me know what you think of this type of reading down below. Remember, down in the description are all the questions. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.